You are very welcome to day 15 of the Bedtime Yin Yoga Challenge. Today we're doing a routine that is inspired by my kindergarten students that I teach. I did a similar video here on my channel inspired by the ways that they move and sit on the floor, and it resulted in a very grounding, very calming routine. So I thought it would be perfect to include a similar routine in this Bedtime Yin Yoga Challenge. You might need a yoga block or a bolster or a cushion, just something to sit on for this routine. And when you're ready, we'll get started in child's pose. So you can come into whichever version works best for you. Knees can be together or they can be wide apart. Forehead can come down onto the yoga mat or it can rest on your hands. If you're not using your hands, they can rest next to your feet with the palms facing up. We'll stay here in child's pose for 3 minutes. So as your body starts to stretch out into this pose, just feel the effects of gravity very gently pressing you into the earth. Relaxing all of your muscles and just dropping them lower and lower. If you notice yourself getting carried away in thought, that's completely normal. Just try your best to come back to whatever keeps you present, whether that's your body or your breath. And then I'll let you know when to release the pose. You can slowly push yourself away from the ground and come to sit on the mat, whatever way works best for you. When you're there, you might rest your palms onto your knees, lengthen through your spine, tuck your chin slightly towards your chest, and just pause here, feeling everything draining back down to the ground. Noticing the effects of child's pose. Our next child-inspired pose is butterfly pose. So we'll do this sitting on the mat. You can sit on that cushion or yoga block if you need to here. And then bring the soles of your feet together. The further away you have your feet from your body, the less intense this will be. So find something that's sustainable for you. And then your hands might hold your feet. You can start to fold forward. Just drop your nose towards your feet. And remember, we're not forcing anything here. The knees can be exactly as they are. Just finding your first edge in butterfly pose. Sitting with it. And then maybe your body will invite you to go a little bit deeper. And before we settle totally into this pose, you might want to make sure that your pelvis is rotating forwards. We'll hold here for 5 minutes in total. Once again, allowing gravity to do all of the work. If your head and neck become too heavy, you can always have your elbows against your legs and just rest your forehead into your hands. Or you might take a yoga block or two to create a platform to rest your head on. you can start to peel yourself slowly back up out of the pose. Once again, sitting whatever way feels best for you. We'll pause to feel the new effects of butterfly. While you're here, you might release your legs with some windshield wipers, so you can have them long on the mat in front of you, and then slowly drop your knees from side to side. Trying in these moments not to lose track of your thoughts completely, still trying to keep them here with your body and with your breath. Now we'll move into our next pose, which is saddle pose. So this is where you especially might sit on a yoga block or a cushion. We'll be sitting on our heels. It's fine to stay like this if this feels comfortable for you. But if you do want to come into saddle, you can widen your feet so that you can maybe sit in between them. And this doesn't happen for everyone, that's okay, especially if you have tight ankles or quads or if you have sensitive knees. So don't worry if you can't quite sit down, that's where you can sit on that cushion or yoga block. So you might allow your feet to point away from you slightly. Be very mindful of your knees here. If you start to feel any pain, then just come out of the pose and definitely don't lean back too much. But we'll start by staying in this position. Your hands can just rest wherever feels good for them to do so. Or you could bring them into prayer position at your chest. Bow your head slightly towards your heart. Feel both of your seat bones pressing into whatever you're sitting on. Then use that gentle pressure to elongate your spine. Gently lengthening and straightening as you go. And as you find your breath, also locate your center. And breathe in and out from it for a few moments here. These quieter, less stretchy poses can often be the most challenging. So if you're starting to feel a little frustration, that's totally normal. You might just ask yourself why, and then just see if you can find a point of interest within your body. Find your breath, find your center, and just see if you can stick to it for a few more moments. You're welcome to stay here, or if you want to go to that next edge, we can start to lean back a little bit. Personally, I can't lean back when I'm sitting on something, so I'm going to remove the yoga block. Maybe you feel the same way. But if not, you can of course stay on your block. And then being very mindful and very slow, we'll just start to lean back, walking the hands back behind us. Starting to feel that opening within the quads. Let's just breathe there for a few moments. This might be your last edge, so you can stay here. But if you do feel as though you could go a little bit forward, a little bit deeper, you're welcome to come back down onto your elbows or maybe even lie on your back. And we'll stay here like this for 2 more minutes. You can gradually start to make your way out of the pose. However that looks is fine. You can release your legs and hips in whatever way they're asking you to. And when you're ready, we'll pause in angel pose this time. So you're just bending your knees and then resting your head either onto your knees or maybe onto your hands on your knees. From angel pose, we'll come on down onto the back of the body. So you can slowly roll onto your mat. Once you're there, just splaying out into corpse pose for a moment. Finding that gentle force of gravity pressing you down. Take a moment to loosen your jaw and relax your face. I feel a very appropriate pose to do for this routine is happy baby pose. So to come into happy baby, you can bring your knees up towards your chest. And first, just give yourself a little hug here. Finding any tender muscles within your hips and your lower back. And just giving them a little squeeze. You might be happy just to stay here, or you can take your knees wider than your chest, bring your arms into the middle of your knees, and then come to hold either your shins, your ankles, or the outside or the inside of your feet, whatever feels best for you here. And wherever you are, bring your feet parallel to the ceiling. If this feels too intense, you can just do one leg at a time, and I'll let you know when we're halfway through the hold so you can switch to the opposite side. We're going to stay here for 4 minutes in total. So at first you might want to gently rock your baby from side to side. But then we'll try to stick to our second principle of Yin Yoga, which is stillness. We're halfway through this hold, so if you need to switch to the opposite leg, you can do that now. Otherwise, take a moment to relax your jaw, relax your face. Feel gravity draining any stress or worry from your body. It's all just rolling into your yoga mat. It's time to release happy baby. Dropping into whatever way you naturally land back on the mat. Feeling whatever you feel. You can bring your legs long onto your yoga mat if they're not already doing so. Splaying out into corpse pose once again. And this time you might bring one hand onto your belly, the other hand onto your chest. Feel yourself breathing in and out. Feel the slow beating of your heart. You can stay here on the mat for as long as you can, just resting, or you can click into this 10-minute guided relaxation. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I'll see you again here on the mat for day 16. Until then, take good care of yourself. Good night and goodbye.